Welcome back. This video is for the Wintery Deer Christmas card, and this one features the Wintery 3D embossing folder. So this one has embossed sort of like pine needles in the background, and some more stamping of the trees and the lovely deer. And so that I really like this black and white gingham ribbon as well on this card. Okay, let's get started. So let's start with the stamping. So I've got some my Whisper White and Soft Succulent ink and the two Christmas stamps. Actually, what I might do is put this piece on first. So in your kit you'll have a pre-embossed soft succulent piece, and you can choose either side to stick to the card. I like the side where the embossing is sticking up, the embossed side. So let's just attach that. It's a little bit curvy because it's been through the embossing process. Because there's quite a lot of pattern on here, it actually weakens the card a wee bit. So I found it can just sort of curve a little bit more than we want. And I've just got a little bit here overhanging at the back, so I'm just going to trim that off. Right. Now we'll do our stamping. So now for this one I actually stamped off the trees to make them a lighter shade. So I'm going to stamp on my scrap paper and then onto the card. Out there. And we're going to do one with 3 trees and then 2 with double trees in the middle. And then finish again with the 3 trees at the end. Quite a nice effect. Okay, the next thing is the ribbon. So we'll put that on. So it's just going to go around over the join line between the embossed card and the stamped area, and then around to the back. And I'll put some Stamp and Seal here, or you might have snail or glue dot, something like that. I don't use the liquid adhesive for this because I find it doesn't always dry properly with the ribbon, and you can end up with your ribbon coming off. Right, get rid of that little bit. So now we can stamp our deer, and there's a couple of choices in the stamp set. You've got a deer that's got the words "Oh what fun" written on his body, and he's more of a solid stamp, and then the other one that fits the punch is the outline of the deer. Oh, and I've just realized I haven't taken out his little colouring for the back. Just put that on the block. So what I've done is on the sample I did the outline deer, but I've just got one here to show you. That's the solid deer if you wanted to do that as an option instead. So your choice. I'm going to stick with my outline one. And I'm going to stamp it towards the right hand side of the paper. Actually, I might tilt him a wee bit, because when I punch it out, and I'm going to just add the little speckles on his backside, because when I punch it out, the antlers are on the right hand side, and if I hit my deer further over, they're going to punch out and take up space, and I want a bit of card left over so I can do the antlers separately. Right, so there's my deer, and then I've just got a bit of card over here where I can stamp the antlers, and I'll stamp them twice and I'll explain why. Because on the punch they're in two different places, so they don't actually punch out the way you stamp them. So now I've just got to figure out, I didn't quite get the angle right on those. Oops, so I'm going to have to cut my, it's just a matter of finding where they will punch. Actually, I'll separate the two. Because I've only got a little piece of card left, it's a little bit fiddly this time round. Okay, it's not going to plan, is it? So what you can do when you've got a small little piece of paper, such as this one, if you grab a post-it note, you can use it as a handle to extend the arm, I guess, that extends your reach. So I want to go that way. There we go. It's just a matter of finding the right position in one of the antlers. Right, so there's one. And then what I've got left, it's actually punched out a wee bit of the second antler there, so we'll go for the other one we did. That's why I did two. So this one, actually, if we go that way, they are slightly different. I've just realized these antlers, I thought they were actually the same, but I just tried lining that one up in this side and it didn't work. So there we go. You won't notice when you put it on your deer if they're both the same or different. It doesn't really matter. Such a little detail. Okay. Now I've got little bits everywhere. Right. So a little dot of liquid glue on the end of each antler where it meets the deer. It might be just a little bit too small. Try again. There we go. And then I'll actually just take the deer to each of these antlers, and I want the oh, actually, have I ended up with both the same direction? I think I have. Okay, well, we'll hide that. Right, so we want that one there. Just angle that one a bit more. There we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, so we'll just turn it over to dry a wee bit while I put some dimensionals on him. And I didn't bother cutting up little pieces for the legs. I think there's enough. It's only a small piece, and there's enough there to hold it on. I'll just put a little bit for his tail. Actually, that's a bit big. Use that bit there. Just make sure the body's nice and securely stuck on. And then we're going to stick this on a circle that's been cut from cinnamon cider cardstock. I love the look of this with the green. Just really pops. And it's actually, I cut this out of a card base. It's got that line through it, but what you can do is, if you've got a line like that, is you can just rub it with your bone folder and it sort of disappears a bit. But I'm going to stick my deer over it anyway. Just like that. And then it gets adhered to the other circle in your pack, which is basic white. So I'll just put some glue on there. Just a wee bit poking out from underneath the cinnamon cider one. Okay, so now card base. Now on my sample I actually stuck it flat to the card base, and that's because I've got the ribbon tucked around the back. So you can, if you want to, put it on dimensionals, but I would make sure to put a dimensional on each of those. Actually, let's do that. My worst fear is ribbon coming undone. Once you've gone to all this effort and made your card, you do not want it to come apart. So either flat stick or dimensionals, whichever you prefer. And then just eyeball that. A little bit too far to the left then. There we go, nice and straight. Okay, so we'll put our deer on. So again, it's going on dimensionals. I love lots of dimensionals. Right, it's going to go over the ribbon, and he's sort of looking back behind himself. Here we go. And then for the sentiment this time I'm using Merry Christmas and stamping it in the soft succulent ink. These are great because you can see right through them, so we only need a little strip, exactly the right width. And I'll just cut that. And that one goes on the small dimensionals. And when I put it on, I'm just going to make sure my ribbon is in between the dimensionals, because I don't want it sort of half on, half off, because then you can get a funny skew-width placement. There we go, that's the front done. And then for the inside, I haven't grabbed myself an inner here for this one. 1 second. Okay, so the inner for this one's going to go that way, and again I just stamped, in fact I might do a couple more trees this time. So let's follow that pattern that we did on the front and do the large trees, and then two lots of small trees, like that. Yeah, a little grove of trees. Let's get that even. And there you have it. Another Christmas card made. I hope you enjoy this one. Thank you.
Hey, if you wanna play, make it a better place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw out